Hey everyone, and greetings from Radio Wasteland Records, and it is time once again for our weekly check into some of the new releases headed to an independent record store near you. Just a partial list though, because the full list is always way too big to get into in such a short and succinct video. If you'd like to see the full list, you can head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. From there, you can check out everything that there is to offer. We'll also put a link directly to this particular week's releases in the description below, so you can narrow your search down even further. But without any further ado, let's get into a big list for Friday, July 14th, 2023. Only one new release. We've got a very heavy week of reissues coming up, but one new release of note, and this one is from Colter. Brand new stuff from him called Little Songs. Our description says that on Little Songs, fans of Walls will find some of the same hardscrabble voice that they've loved over the years, connecting the contemporary world to the values, hardships, and celebrations of rural life. This album features 8 new original songs as well as 2 fan favorite covers, one of Hoyt Axton's Evangeline and Ian Tyson's The Coyote and the Cowboy. More from our description. It says Little Songs is an upbeat, sometimes somber glimpse into the rural world and social life of the Canadian West. And more so than with his previous albums, opens emotional and then turns as mature and heartening as the resonant baritone voice writing and singing them. So Little Songs coming on black vinyl. That one listing for about $25, and then there is an indie exclusive on baby blue colored vinyl, this one listing for $26. As we mentioned, lots and lots on the reissue front. Let's start off with a quartet from the Kinks. These are 4 concept albums from the Kinks from the mid-70s. Starting off with Preservation Act 1 and 2. Now, Preservation Act 1 is the 12th album by the Kinks, and again, a concept album that was originally released in November of 1973. Our description says that this is a rock opera that uses the charming small-town nostalgia of Village Green as the template to draw the entirety of society and how it works. So some fun stuff there from the Kinks. That one on black vinyl and listing for about $25. We follow this up with Preservation Act 2, literally the follow-up from 1974 of Preservation Act 1. And this is a further installment of Ray Davies' musical drama with the character sketches, wry observations, and ballads as seen in Preservation Act 1. This one listing a little heavier because it's a double LP on black vinyl, coming in at a suggested price of $35. Then we've got Soap Opera from 1975. That's when it was originally released. The Kinks' 14th studio album. And our description says it is a continuation of the band's theatrical musical stylings from Preservation Acts 1 and 2. Soap Opera is the grandest concept album the Kinks had ever made, in which Ray Davies tackled the topic of how ordinary people escape the doldrums with dreams of stardom. That one also on black vinyl listing for $25. And then finally we get Schoolboys in Disgrace, this one from 1975, the 15th studio album by the Kinks, and it's considered by critics to be the last album in what's been dubbed the group's theatrical period. Now this album is rooted in 1950s rock and roll, but also includes elements of hard rock, 50s pop and doo-wop, and then even arena rock. So it's all over the place, but it is a fun record regardless. Once again, black vinyl single LP, this one listing for about $25. So hopefully all 4 of these Kinks releases will hit in time to make their release date on the 14th. Also on the reissue front, we've got Starfleet Project, a 40th anniversary release from Brian May of Queen and Friends. Starfleet Project, the 40th anniversary reissue, mirrors the original Starfleet Project album released in 1983. So this 40th anniversary edition has been newly remixed from the original analog tapes and is being presented on a single 180-gram black vinyl LP. This version of Starfleet Project from Brian May and Friends listing for about $30. But there is an expanded edition. This is a red LP plus 2 CD plus 7-inch single box set of the Starfleet sessions. So our description says that the first CD is Starfleet Project Plus Beyond, features the full-length and single versions of the title track, full-length versions of Let Me Out, Blues Breaker, plus interviews and live performances. The second compact disc, the Starfleet Sessions, features 23 tracks newly mixed from the original analog tapes like the previous single LP. Also included is the Starfleet Project on 180-gram transparent red vinyl and includes a 7-inch black vinyl single with an exclusive B-side. This also comes with a badge and booklet and extensive liner notes. So the Starfleet Sessions 40th Anniversary box set with a red LP, 2 CDs, and a 7-inch single, plus a book and some other goodies, listing for about $110. In the midst of a group of Aerosmith reissues, we get the self-titled Aerosmith, and then further down the line, there's going to be another 4 or 5, so stay tuned. In a couple of weeks, we'll have more details on those. But this one, the self-titled debut album from Aerosmith, originally released in 1973, of course, featuring Dream On as the hit single off of this. So this reissue, listing for about $30. Here's one from Cleopatra Records. It's called Whirlwind by Tommy Bolin, and our description says that it is a spectacular collection of rare and unreleased recordings from the famed guitarist who was in Deep Purple, the James Gang, Billy Cobham, and of course his solo work, Tommy Bolin. Features rare material of his jazz rock band Energy and an epic 26-minute version of Marching Powder. Here they call it, though, Marching Bag. And this release also contains songs that Bolin was preparing for a third solo album before his untimely death in 1976. So a double LP on purple vinyl, Whirlwind by Tommy Bolin, listing for about $40. Here's a great reissue from the Rolling Stones. It is Metamorphosis, and our description says that this was the first official Rolling Stones Rarities collection, originally released in 1975. This release combines legendary outtakes, rarities, and a wealth of demos that Mick Jagger and Keith Richards had composed for other artists, but were subsequently re-recorded by the Stones themselves. So a black vinyl reissue of Metamorphosis by the Rolling Stones, listing for about $30. The second in 2 weeks from Michigan's The Rationals, and I wish they would do these all at once, or at least let us know ahead of time that they are going to be doing several of them week after week. Last week we had a multicolor version. This week, though, we've got a magenta-colored version. Same structure as last week's with the extra LP of demos and live stuff coming from The Rationals. So The Rationals on magenta vinyl this time, listing for about $40. That, by the way, coming from Cleopatra Records as well. Stay tuned, though, because I did look ahead just because they reran this one so close to the other one. Next week, the following week after this, they're releasing a silver-colored vinyl version. So I guess if you've got a favorite color, hang out and keep looking for those because Cleopatra is cranking them out 1 week after another. But for the week of the 14th, at least, we've got a magenta double LP from The Rationals. That one, again, listing for about $40. Next up, some great soul music from Jackie Wilson. This is Higher and Higher, a reissue of that, coming from Org Music. This is a 1967 album from Mr. Excitement himself, R&B pioneer Jackie Wilson, one of the defining vocalists of that era. 2 versions of this. We have got a black vinyl version listing for about $27 and an indie-exclusive blue vinyl version, this one listing for $28. A pair of reissues from REM on the docket as well. First up is Around the Sun. This is REM's 13th studio album, originally released in 2004. Double LP on black vinyl records, this one listing for about $38. And we can also look forward to Collapse Into Me, which was REM's 15th and final studio album, released in 2011. This one on black vinyl single LP, listing for about $30. By the way, this one, and I did not know this, has guest appearances from Patti Smith, Eddie Vedder, and Peaches. There's another reissue from the Beat Farmers. This is Poor and Famous, probably one of their more accessible albums from this eccentric college radio rock group. Originally released in 1989, this reissue on black vinyl listing for about $25. We also have a colored vinyl reissue from the Sugar Cubes, here today, tomorrow, next week. Our description says that this is a limited edition repress on pink vinyl, and listing a little bit heavy, coming in at a suggested price of about $51. But some cool stuff. You don't see a whole lot of Sugar Cubes out there, so this may be a cool one to grab into. By the way, this is a double LP, though. Another reissue from the Smashing Pumpkins. This is Monuments to an Elegy. This is the 9th studio album from the Smashing Pumpkins, originally released in 2014. This black vinyl reissue coming in at a suggested price of $25. An anniversary reissue from the Deftones. This is the Deftones, or Deftones, self-titled. Limited edition ruby red colored pressing. This is the Deftones' self-titled 4th studio album, featuring songs Hexagram and Minerva, celebrating its 20th anniversary with a limited edition vinyl pressing. Again, red vinyl from the Deftones, listing for about $25. Next up is a blue vinyl reissue of Room on Fire from The Strokes. This one coming from Sony import label, so it's going to be a little more expensive. Now this is the second studio album by the rock band The Strokes, originally released in 2003. So again, the blue vinyl reissue of Room on Fire, listing very heavy, coming in at a suggested price of $52. Next up is a pair from Death Cab for Cutie. We have Narrow Stairs, which was the band's sixth studio album, released in 2008. This one looks to be on black vinyl and lists for about $29. Then we can also look forward to The Open Door from Death Cab for Cutie, which was originally released as a companion to 2008's Narrow Stairs. This one looks to be on the EP side, so it's listing a little nicer, coming in at a suggested price of $20. And then wrapping things up for the week of the 14th, we've got a couple of compilations and some live albums. First up is Farewell, the very best of Foreigner, coming on gold vinyl. Now this is coming from a label I'd not heard of yet, from Trigger Records. Tried looking some info up on them, not seeing a whole lot. So I can't quite tell if this is a reimagining of some of their hits. It doesn't say it is, so we're going to go with the fact that this is actually the hits from Foreigner being released on gold vinyl. Our description simply says 11 of Foreigner's greatest hits released as an individually numbered limited edition of 5,000 copies on this gold vinyl. So again, coming from Trigger Records, we're going to assume hopefully that these are the original hits, but it does list kind of heavy for this single LP on gold vinyl, coming in at a suggested price of $50. This one's not going to win any awards for album cover artwork, and I don't mean to pick on him, but hey, this is the best of Survivor. Black vinyl with some blue in there, limited edition coming from Friday Music. Double LP on translucent blue and black swirled vinyl, housed in a gatefold jacket, includes a 24x24 poster and features 14 smash hits, including, of course, Eye of the Tiger, I Can't Hold Back, High on You, The Search is Over, Burning Heart, and many, many more. So the best of Survivor on double LP coming from Friday Music. Wow, this one lists for about $60. So, wow, again, we'll leave it at that. If you're really a big Survivor fan, go for it. On the live side, we've got something from Nazareth. This is the Full Circle Tour 1981, coming on blue vinyl from Purple Pyramid and Cleopatra Records. Our description says that this is the monumental 1981 tour commemorating the release of the band's 12th studio album. The Full Circle has been now remastered and is available on vinyl. Again, double LP on that blue vinyl, the Full Circle Tour from Nazareth, listing at about $40. Next up is a black vinyl reissue of Unplugged from Eric Clapton. Double LP, this is Eric Clapton's Grammy Award-winning 1992 MTV Unplugged album, one of the best-selling live albums of all time, with over 26 million copies sold worldwide. So let's see if we can get a few more in there. Double LP black vinyl Unplugged from Eric Clapton, this one listing for about $36. How about some live jazz? This is Evenings at the Village Gate, John Coltrane with Eric Dolphy. This coming from Impulse Records, so it's part of that Impulse reissue series. The Coltrane Quintet played an engagement at the legendary Village Gate in New York. Now our description goes on to say that 80 minutes of never-before-heard music from this group were recently discovered at the New York Public Library. In addition to some well-known Coltrane material, there is a breathtaking feature for Dolphy's bass clarinet on a song called When the Lights Are Low, and the only known non-studio recording of Coltrane's composition Africa from the Africa Brass album. So some very interesting and rare stuff from Coltrane and Dolphy. So Evenings at the Village Gate, double LP from Impulse Records on black vinyl, listing for about $40. That could be a really cool one to get a hold of. And then finally today, something live. This is The Feeling of Falling Upwards from 5 Seconds of Summer, recorded live at the Royal Albert Hall. Now, our description says that the multi-platinum selling pop rock band 5 Seconds of Summer released this digitally back in April, but now we have some physical formats finally available coming up on the 14th. The tracks are taken from the band's 2022 one-of-a-kind performance at the world-famous Royal Albert Hall in London. Accompanying the band in this performance was a 12-piece string orchestra and a 12-member gospel choir. So 5 Seconds of Summer, The Feeling of Falling Upwards, recorded live from the Royal Albert Hall, looks to be a single LP on black vinyl and lists for about $38. And that is a quick check of some of the new releases headed our way for Friday, July 14th, 2023. If you're local and you see something you'd like, please contact us here at the store or visit our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. While there, you can peruse not only this week's releases, but everything that there is to offer on that website as well. We'll put a link, by the way, to all of the July 14th releases in the description below, so you can narrow down your search to just everything that's coming out on the 14th. So until next week, this has been Jim from Radio Wasteland. Thanks a lot for being here.